and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Department of Moose Information. This is a game show, a web show brought to you by Loose Moose Theater because we can't let you into our theater right now. So we're going to bring you this show and hopefully give you something to laugh at and think about. I'm your host, Dave Ware, and what's going to happen is I'm going to walk these four improvisers through a series of verbal challenges to see which team can come out on top. And today with us we have the blue team, which is Vanessa and Tony, and the red team, which is Dennis and Veena. So this is kind of an interesting episode, as well as having some of our original members of Loose Moose back from our Pump House and Simplex days. We also are bringing this show to you from all over the place. Vanessa is in New York City. Dennis is in Calgary. Tony is in Oslo, Norway, and Veena is coming to us from Vancouver. So everybody's all over the place. And I would argue, and I will fight any of you that disagree with me, but I would argue that all four of these people have had their lives influenced very heavily by Loose Moose Theater. Yes, would you say so?
What theater are we speaking of?
Last decade.
Lowe's Muse, what?
Okay, so we're going to get right into things. This is the first round. This is called Truths and Lies. So what's going to happen is I'm going to read out a statement that one of the players has given me, and then the other team will have 2 minutes to determine whether that person is telling the truth or whether they are lying. So we are going to start with the blue team. So this is Tony's statement, and the statement is, I once worked in a drug research lab.
Wow. So when was this, Tony? How old were you?
I was 17.
Were you being paid to do some strange tests? Like perform, like where they would make you do weird things like swallow glass and see what it does to the body? Was it like that kind of a job?
No, I wasn't a test subject, if that's what you mean.
Right.
So what was your job? What swallow glass. Yeah, what was your job if you wasn't swallowing glass?
Preparing animals for tests.
Ooh, what kind of animals?
Rats, rabbits, stuff like that.
When you say preparing animals, to do what?
To be tested upon.
Like did you have to like cut them up or kill
Yes.
them?
Yes.
Oh.
Where was this?
At the university in Calgary.
And I mean, but okay, so the University of Calgary, in what department?
The medical department, medicine.
Can you describe the lab that you worked in?
Sure, yeah. It was a third floor of the new medical school over there by the Foothills Hospital. Go up to the third floor, down a big long hallway into a laboratory, which looked exactly like a laboratory. A bunch of long desks with machines that go ping, and retort stands and glass and test tubes and, centrifuges and stuff.
What qualifications did you have at 17 to be able to conduct tests on animals?
None. So what? What's your point?
I'm ready to vote.
Yeah, me too.
All right, red team, what do you think?
I think this is true.
Yeah, I think he's lying because it's so possible that it could be true that he doesn't think that we think it's true. Therefore, we might be lying. He's lying.
Okay, I follow that.
All right, so red team, you'll have to come to a consensus.
I'll go with yours, Dennis.
Are you sure? Because I was willing to give in to yours. That's how sure of myself I am.
Let's go with true and
Let's go with true and see what happens, because
Yeah.
that's the name of the game.
yes.
Okay. So you're locking in at true. So Tony, was that the truth or were you lying?
It's the truth.
Oh, I just thought, again, like a lot of sort of detail. He's looking up to the left when I
Yeah.
asked him to describe the lab, and that's my going theory. I don't know if that's true, but I'm working on it.
It was so
My,
far-fetched.
my qualification was that my mother worked at the hospital there as a medical transcriptionist, and she got me the job. And I thought I was going to go in there and clean glassware and use the autoclave and stuff like that. But no, they had me braining rats with a big by wanging them over the edge of a desk and braining rabbits and cutting them in half. And they were testing a drug called Urotensin for hypertension.
Well, this is when you're 17, so this was like in the 30s. So that kind of thing was probably pretty common then, right?
Of course, and it was pretty much a shot in the dark, but what the hell?
So we're going to go to the first statement from the red team. And this statement is from Dennis. I was once in 2 car accidents in the same day.
Ooh.
Were you driving?
Resulted in head injuries.
Well, no, there was no, I wasn't injured, but I was driving. Yes.
You were driving in
Was
both?
the car badly wrecked? Or
I was I was driving in one. Somebody else was driving in the other one.
Okay. How old were you?
This was probably about 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago.
Oh, so recently.
Yeah, quite recently.
I was going to say if this was like university, I'd say, 2, no biggie. But
That's the weekend.
that's getting downright reckless of you in your old age here. Where?
This was on 20th Avenue, Northwest, and both accidents happened at the exact same intersection, which was, I don't know, it'd probably be about, 5th Street and 20th Avenue Northwest.
Okay.
And
Were
both
you
accidents
crossing
happened
20th?
within 30 minutes of each other.
Were you crossing 20th Avenue on one of the side streets there?
No, I was on 20th Avenue for the first one, and then the second one, we were crossing 20th Avenue.
Was it winter?
No, it was April. Yeah, April.
Was it,
And
whose fault was it, or what happened?
It was one woman's fault. I don't know. She was a stranger to me.
So both were one woman's fault?
Yes, both accidents were one woman's fault.
Okay. And was she in another car or just?
Yes, she was in another car for the first accident, and then we were in the same car for the second accident.
So, okay, I get it. So you were in an accident with this woman, and then you ended up getting into her car, and then she got in another accident?
Yes.
That's great. Why would you go into the same car? She just hit you.
There's reasons.
you had a gun.
No, I was trying to get to the theater. And
I have to get to the theater. You must drive me to the theater.
well, so I was taking the box office down, like all of the ticketing and all of that for our afternoon matinee. Deborah was already at the theater. So I was on the way down with the entire box office for shows that afternoon. So I felt responsible for getting the box office there on time so that small children are not disappointed.
They don't have a thing called Uber in Calgary?
Not at the time. There was no Uber at the time.
Any taxi cabs? We have them all over in New York.
Well, the other problem was that I was not carrying a cell phone at the time.
In Calgary, it'd be quicker to call for a unicorn to come and take you.
Or a zebra.
All right. So blue team, what do you think? Is Dennis telling the truth or is he lying?
I'm going to say he's telling the truth. It just sounds too ridiculous to be a lie.
The same intersection, Tony?
Well, he got into the car. The lady was all frazzled. She pulled out into traffic and got wanged again, right? Sure. It sounds like, good idea getting into the frazzled lady's car who just rear-ended you or whatever, Good thinking.
One thing is, did you get to the box office on time?
No, although Deborah did come eventually, because I did manage to contact her, and she did come and collect the box office, and then immediately went back to the theater without asking me if I was okay.
and then was hit by that woman. So
That's
Okay, Tony, I'll go with you. Yeah.
going to be Glenn Close. You get any
Yeah.
rabbit stew out of the deal?
okay, so blue team is going to go with true. So Dennis, was that story true, or were you telling a lie?
Unfortunately, that story was true.
Wow.
Absolute truth. I was driving down 20th Avenue, taking the box office to the theater. My peripheral vision, I see this car shooting right from a side street, ignoring a stop sign. I slammed on my brakes. I hit her passenger side door. We pull around the corner, and she has a cell phone but is incapable of using it because she's so frazzled. And I'm desperate now to try and contact the theater. And she said, well, I can give you a ride. And I must have been slightly in shock because I said, sure. So I got in the back seat. I said, you'll have to turn around and go back to the stop sign, you know, where we had the accident. And as we were driving up the street, she asked me something, and I was answering her question. Suddenly I realized we were drifting right across 20th Avenue again.
Jesus.
And she hits a student who was just happened to be out for a drive and basically totaled her car. And at that point, we got out and we found somebody with a cell phone and contacted the police.
She hit a student driver or just a student?
A student that was driving. It was a young woman that was just out. It was exam time at the university, so she was just out to clear her head. And you know, she didn't take her cell because she was just going to go out for a short little drive. Little did she realize she was entering the Bermuda Triangle of traffic.
Yeah.
And the woman was British. The great thing she said to me was, "Oh, in England we don't have stop signs."
They just go right through the intersection.
And
It's like, what?
got a woman's side who's in such shock she can't even operate her cell phone. But yeah, go ahead, drive the 2-ton car around. Unbelievable.
No, I know. I apologize for my behavior, but I was desperate. Moving on.
Moving on. So the next statement comes from Vanessa. And the statement is, I sustained a collapsed lung pneumothorax when I was a student studying acupuncture.
You had your lung collapse or a patient you were working on?
No, because when you're in acupuncture school, you for the first 2 years is you practice on each other. Like you theoretically have to know what to do before they're going to let you, you know, go to the student clinic and start treating. And one of the things you learn is the way that you should put a different acupuncture point depending on what's underneath. And yeah, sometimes you get into some bad, you know, we all worked with each other and it would move around. And we were in class one day and there's some points up in here. And, you know, I didn't notice it right away, but later on in that class, I was just starting to get really sweaty and it's hard to, you know, catch my breath. And I ride a bike. That's how I get back and forth to school. And, you know, it's flat in New York. And it was like normally nothing. And I got home from school that night and I was just like, I could barely ride my bike. And so I went over to the, you know, the emergency department just a couple blocks away and they did a chest x-ray. And yeah, I had what's called a pneumothorax. And yeah. You live and learn. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, this has nothing to do with whether you truth or lie, but were there any repercussions? Did they?
No, it depends on how much the lung collapses. It's a fairly common thing that can happen. Sometimes it happens spontaneously, but in acupuncture or anytime they're needling around this area, doing dry needle, whatever, you know, if you angle the needle incorrectly, you can puncture the lung. So if you're young and at that time I was youngish, and you know, if you're young and fairly healthy, if it's not too much of a collapse, it'll resolve over time without any treatment. If it's a real big collapse, sometimes they have to put a chest tube in. They might give you some supplementary oxygen, you know, but they were just like, you know, and it did get better.
See, that was the answer for somebody that would ask a question in a sensitive manner. I was actually asking, were there repercussions for the person that caused?
Oh, the student. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I take it for granted you were okay.
You know,
I just want to know, was the other student like, were they, given a, I don't know.
they were horrified, of course. It's
I would
unfortunate,
hope so.
Lung collapser, which doesn't go well for an actor.
you know.
Hey, lung collapser, come here.
You know, it's unfortunate. You know, these things do happen. You know, they of course felt really bad, and the supervisors felt bad because he really, should have been monitored a little more. But no, he continued.
But it was like nobody wanted to work with them from then.
Oh, you knew.
Okay,
knew
everybody pair up.
what it's like. Yeah, no.
Yes.
Sorry, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. And this, no, you learn pretty well. It's like, oh, don't put that person near me.
Lung
All right,
collapse.
red team, we're gonna need an answer from you guys.
What do you think, Veena?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV, so clearly I know what I'm talking about. I think she's lying. I think if you collapse the lung, you would know right away. I can't imagine you could ride a bike home and then kind of go, something's not right. So I think she's lying.
I agree with you, just because you do play a doctor on TV.
All right,
Yeah.
so red team is going to lock in that this is a lie. So
Yes.
Vanessa, was this the truth or were you telling a lie?
I'll lie.
It was a lie.
Yes. Yes.
I knew right away who I wanted to needle me. It's like,
We all do, don't we?
yeah.
Okay, so the final statement of the round will come from Veena. And the statement is, I have photos of Jodie Foster's vagina.
I totally, yes. Yeah.
Of course she does.
She
Doesn't everybody?
I've seen the
Jodie Foster,
scrapbook.
she's super great actress, gay, sort of like an icon in the gay community, and I'm just a little curious as to how she would have got a hold of them.
Because Veena was in a movie with her once, and she played a gynecologist, or somebody was doing a rape kit thing.
But Van, were people actually like taking photos of Jodie Foster's minge during the filming of this thing? Come on.
Minge.
Listen, it's there were some photos. It might as well have been her photos, right? I think Veena probably had to take them as part of the scene. You just didn't. It was deleted scene, like because when you hit break,
Oh my God!
Just before the next take, Jodie, I just
A disclaimer for this episode.
I would think that at any time, any superstar Hollywood movie star was going to be in any state of undress. It would be a super closed set. There would be no sort of random photos being taken of anybody's wedding tackle or anything like that. Come on.
okay, yeah, you're right. It's just, anyways,
She has drawings she's made by fantasy. The actual photo.
some fan art, yeah.
It's a hobby.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so blue team, how are you gonna go on this one?
I have to once again realize, Tony, yes, yeah, you're right. I've never been on a set. I don't know how things go.
Me neither, really, but I just don't. For one thing, you think she would have posted them.
Before the internet, the interweb was nothing.
Well, she still has them.
They're probably like a Polaroid or, like something from an Instamatic camera.
Doesn't have Polaroid photos of Jodie Foster's twat. Come on.
Daguerreotype or something.
Yeah, you want to share your screen with us and show
Okay,
us?
so you're saying it's a lie?
Are you guys going with lie?
I'm saying a lie, yes.
Okay, so blue is gonna lock in as lie. So, Veena, was that the truth or were you telling a lie?
I have photos of Jodie Foster's vagina.
Of course you do.
I was on a movie as a nurse in a movie called The Accused.
Yeah.
And I was asked by the director spontaneously, "Oh, you over there, can you take pictures of her while this doctor asks her questions?" So I had a Polaroid and I had to take pictures, and she was being all very method. So underneath her gown, they wanted me to take pictures of the fake bruises and stuff that they put on her. So as these Polaroids came out of the camera, you know, take after take from different angles, at one point I said to the director, what should I do with these? He goes, oh yeah, right. Okay, just put them in your pocket for now, and we'll make sure we get them from you at the end of the day when we wrap. So 16 hours later, when we wrapped, everyone had forgotten, and I went to my trailer to get changed, and I realized, oh my God, here in my nurse's smock, I had all these Polaroids. So I kept them.
Where do you keep them? Are they like in a little locked box? Or?
They're in our basement, but I did revisit the pictures, and Polaroid dissolves, film dissolves. So now there's just nothing but some
So it's good that you have
shadowy.
sketches that you had made from the photos.
No, I was a good person. I never did anything. I could have made probably lots of money, but besides, who would believe you anyway? It's just this blurry picture of someone's thighs and groin and some other parts.
It's Jodie Foster.
Yeah, that's right.
It must be.
So yeah,
That's going to bring us to the end of the round. So I can tell you at the moment that the red team, Veena and Dennis, have 10 points. And Tony and Vanessa, the blue team, have 5 points.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'm the curse. See?
All right. So in the interest of time, we're only going to do one hypothetical question. Red team, you guys are ahead, so we'll give the blue team a little bit more time to think about it. Your question for today is, you can now actually do one magic trick for real. Which do you choose, and then how do you use it?
Ooh. One magic trick.
Yeah, so normally when someone does it's sleight of hand, we're not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. You would actually be able to do the trick as though it were real, as it is real.
Making things disappear. Do you need a specific, or can I just say I would make things disappear
Sure, you could make things disappear.
with my mind?
Oh.
Right? I would just think about it and it would disappear. Think of the possibilities.
Okay, well, what would be the possibilities? How would you use it?
Oh, I have a long list. long list, starting with politicians. Not all of them, just some of them. And I think we all know, we can't mention his name, the Voldemort of modern politics.
Yeah, sorry.
There we go. Yeah, we can't. So, but yeah, I would just make that sucker disappear so quick. People would go, what? Oh, thank goodness he's gone.
Veena, do you have anything to add, or?
I like that one, but I'd like to also be able to go invisible.
Ooh.
And then maybe push someone off a bridge or something, and no one would know how they fell.
That got dark fast.
It's
Do you have anybody in mind?
you and I might be on the same team about who that could be.
Oh, see, yeah, we're both going in the same direction, just different ways. That's great.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in agreement.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay, some pretty solid answers. I'm going to give you guys 4 points for that. I liked where you were going. That was good. So blue team, same question. So you gain the ability to do a magic trick for real. What magic trick do you choose, and how do you use that to your advantage?
It's a tough one.
I like it in magic tricks when they just make people look like they're floating, you know? Like that. Because I think once you got that, then flying is super easy. You know, if you're just floating like that, you just have to kick your legs.
I think
fly.
sorry to break in here, Vanessa, but I think floating and flying are different things.
Not really. Because if
Don't confuse it with
why can't
swimming.
you go and float there? You just have to move yourself there.
All you'd need is to put one of those little propeller thingy hats on, and you could float, and then zoom, off you go.
Yeah,
That-
and then you
that-
wouldn't
that-
need a car, you know.
It does require some navigation then.
You know, you look around periodically. But the thing is, you're not everything. You're not going to hit anything.
Just look around periodically. I've gotten into car accidents with that kind of behavior.
Well, you guys have taken all the good ones, and all I can really think of is that one where you put somebody in a box and you push swords into it. And I'd really like to be able to do that for real, but I can't think of any way that would be to my advantage. Unless, of course, I could put a specific person in the box and then push swords into it, you know?
What about just being able to bring all this shit out of a hat? Because then you wouldn't have to carry anything, right? You just have to have your hat.
Good point, yeah. You could just bring your hat on trips.
Oh, we're hungry. What should we have? And then we could go, here's a rabbit. And you know how to kill that sort of thing from your work at the university. So
Wouldn't it be better to say, here's a corned beef sandwich?
Yeah. Or here's a bunch
Or
of
here's a martini?
Yeah. You know.
All right. I'm going to give you guys 5 points for that. You bumped up a point with the pulling stuff out of your hat. I thought that was pretty solid right at the end there. That'd be a very handy thing to be able to do. Okay, so at the end of our second round, I can tell you that Tony and Vanessa, the blue team, have 10 points. And Veena and Dennis, the red team, have 14 points. Very close.
Yeah.
This one
We're catching up.
Close to over. So the third section of the show is our category section. I'm going to read out a category, and then the players will give me lines that fit within that category. They're going to put their hands up so that I know that they have an answer, and I will call on them. Make sure to call on everybody until we have no more, or until I grow tired of that category, whatever happens first. 2 points if the answer you give me is if I think it's clever or funny, it makes me laugh. If it doesn't, 0 points. So 2 points each. You got a lot of big opportunity to catch up here, guys. So the first category is things you wouldn't hear in a doctor's office. Vanessa.
You want fries with that?
Dennis.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
Oh. Tony.
This looks just like Jodie Foster's minge.
Oh, the recall. Oh.
Vanessa.
Did you fart?
Veena.
Take one of our souvenir ashtrays on your way out.
Dennis.
Today's special is 2 for 1.
Tony.
Just hold this book open to this page for a minute, will you?
Vanessa.
I have no idea. Have you tried WebMD?
Okay. We're going to move on to the next category. This is lines from commercials that never made it to air. Dennis.
Now less for the same price.
Veena.
Have you got a bloated, uncomfortable feeling in your stomach? Then you need to take a shit.
Vanessa.
Thanks. Because your ass is really as big as you think. Oh.
Just trying to think of something I won't get bleeped on.
Yeah. Okay, were you ready to move on? Are we good? All right. The final category will be things not to say in court.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Dennis.
I'm his lawyer, and even I think he's guilty.
Vanessa.
Are you wearing anything under your robe, Your Honor?
Veena.
Objection! That question should be taken out and shot.
Vanessa.
Can you validate my parking ticket?
Okay. Unless anybody has the last one, we will draw this round to a close, and I will do some quick math once again.
Quick math.
I'm done.
Uh-oh.
That was quick.
That was quick. Wow.
Sounds like something you might want to hear in court.
This was an extremely close match, I have to say.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yes.
That's not, I don't want to hear that.
All right. Tony and Vanessa, you have scored 26 points.
Ooh.
Veena and Dennis, 28 points.
Oh,
Very close.
The
To like
imposter
Wow.
story that did it.
2 po-
Congratulations.
Oh, it's a virtual. I thought you had another line for that. I didn't.
Oh.
So by 2 points, the red team takes the match. Red team, do you have any words of wisdom to share with us?
Stay safe.
Wash your hands.
Don't get into cars with
See some
women
of
that
the-
are crazy drivers. I'm just saying.
All right.
Don't drink any bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
At the bottom of the screen, there's a link that will bring you to the PayPal site for Loose Moose Theater. If you enjoyed the show, if you had a good time, maybe consider dropping us a donation to buy a virtual ticket, so to speak.
And even if you don't, drop us a donation so we can get better.
Yeah. That's right. Anyways, we've had a blast bringing you the show. We hope that you enjoyed it too, and we'll see you next time. So on behalf of everybody, have a great day. Thanks.
Hi, everyone.